We have always heard that Africa is the poorest continent in the earth, with lots of wars, starvation, and corruption. Although this is largely true, there are also some countries that, without being perfect, are geared towards development.
Hello everybody, welcome to Kids in the Temple, and get ready to know
Top 6 Booming African Countries You Didn't Know About.
Despite being surrounded by conflicted countries such as Sudan or Somalia and lacking access to the sea, this Horn of African nation has been able to stand out in its area, thanks to a liberation in the economy allowing more foreign investment by reducing rates of unemployment and poverty. In addition, the government has released political prisoners and granted greater freedom of the press, although the country has certain areas with famine as well as a lack of natural resources, so there's still a long way to go.
Fortunately for the Ethiopians, the country has been growing up non-stop in the recent years. Of course, this doesn't mean they're living great, but we have to consider this part of Africa is really poor and has a lot of wars going on in its territory. So the numbers, especially in macroeconomic terms, are a big hope for these people.
Located to the south of the previous countries lies Kenya. Those who have played Halo surely know this country for the Battle of New Mombasa. Kenya, whose exit to the sea and export capacity have allowed it to develop a fruitful economy. It is one of the African countries with the largest number of Christians. Kenya is known for being a nice place for tourism due to the beautiful beaches and awesome safaris where you can find the most iconic African animals. This country is planning on guaranteeing electricity to all of its citizens in the upcoming years, as well as giving them more access to the internet and other things. Nevertheless, the main problem Kenya has to deal with is the constant droughts that complicates the food and electricity supply, but overall it's doing okay. Let's hope things get better in the future. Known as the Giant of Africa, Nigeria has the largest population on the continent, counting with 250 ethnic groups spread across its vast territory. This nation boasts of having one of the strongest economies not only in Africa but in the world. Unfortunately, this does not mean that you enjoy a good life quality, since your position in the Human Development Index is far from being even in the 100th place. Surprisingly, Nigeria has a movie industry known as Nollywood, being even bigger than Hollywood itself, making thousands of movies per year, granting a nice cash flow and employments for many people, also making it a good place for investments in this industry along with the oil business.
This is serious.
Sadly, most Nigerians live with even less than $1 per day, especially in the most rural parts. I think one of the biggest issues is the amount of population, making it kinda hard to guarantee a decent life quality to all the people. This can even get worse knowing the amount of ethnicities, resulting in a possible ethnic conflicts. Probably the most popular African country, being the home of people such as Elon Musk, Nelson Mandela, or Tolkien. This nation has the biggest economy in all of Africa, having an important stock market and enjoying great urban centers, distributed into three capitals called Bloemfontein, Pretoria, and Cape Town. This is also the homeland of the famous Zulu tribe. Despite the fact that in recent years the country has been damaged by corruption cases, in addition to constant inequality due to the fact that jobs are generally only found in their great cities, South Africa still have a moderate life quality, especially when compared to most of its neighbors. This place is very popular for tourism and investments, and it has always been seen as the hope for a better and more advanced Africa. Hopefully, this will be the case in the future and they can recover from recent problems. Sadly famous for the events of 1994, where tensions between the Hutus and Tutsis exploded, Rwanda has positioned itself in the last 20 years as a completely new country, freer and safer, mainly thanks to its president Paul Kagame, who declares himself a disciple of the leader of Singapore. Today, it is positioned as one of the fastest growing places in the world. Despite criticism of the authoritarianism of his government, the facts show that Paul Kagame has known how to advance his country, making it an attractive place for local and foreign investors, improving the living condition of its citizens. What is most surprising is that Rwanda plans to build the first green city, completely self-sustaining and impeccable, which is not only a great example and hope for Africa, but for the whole world. Although great poverty still persists, Rwanda has proven to be a country with great potential for development, especially if we consider its violent past. At the time of its independence from the United Kingdom in 1966, Botswana was one of the poorest countries in the world. However, after 40 years of development, based mainly on the mining industry, the country has reached extraordinary figures by the standards of the African continent, decreasing poverty and setting a high rate of literate people, especially giving education to children. A good social investment, lots of diamonds, and the presence of the great elephants turned this into a way better country than it was before. However, the country suffers from a large HIV epidemic as well as heavy dependence on mining, coupled with constant droughts. But like we have seen through this video, these are common problems in most of Africa. But if Botswana keeps growing and concentrating in solving these problems, they'll make it soon. So that was all for today, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the subscribe and like button, and I'll see you next time.
묻지 못해